Hi, Bob McLeod here to talk about a way to use TntMPD to manage an increase strategy using saved groups. I say a way because TntMPD is not designed to do this exactly, but it is very easy to do this using existing features. Also, other people may do this differently, so this is just a suggestion and an example of how I do it. I am doing this right now for the third time, and I found this method to work pretty well for me. If you've used TntMPD for a while, and especially if you started using it when you were new staff with your organization and you had a lot of contacts you had never contacted, then you're probably pretty familiar with all of the MPD phases, which are primarily geared towards new contacts. When you enter a list of names, they all start as NA or never contacted, and then you move them through the MPD cycle of assigning them as typically call for appointment first, then you schedule the appointment, go on the appointment, call for a decision, and then a decision is made. Of course, this is the ideal cycle, but in reality, sometimes people make a decision right on the phone. So in practice, it does not work as systematically as it does in theory, but that's okay because the ultimate goal is to bring potential partners to the point of decision. But once a contact joins your team as a financial partner, there comes a time when you want to challenge them to an increased commitment to your ministry. You want to lift them to a greater level of involvement. But unfortunately, you can't really walk them through the MPD process again because you cannot change their MPD phase without erasing their giving commitment. So it's those two are incompatible. So I work around this by using saved groups to replicate the MPD phases or the MPD cycle, and I just move the contacts through these saved groups just like I would with new contacts and the MPD phases. So here's the steps and how I do it. First, I create a category for the increase, the strategy. Then I create a saved group for the starting list to give me a reference point of how many contacts I'm specifically doing. I create a saved group for each phase in the strategy, and then I move the contacts through the saved groups one at a time. Okay, let's take a look at how this works out practically. Here I am in TntMPD, and this is my everyone list. It's all of the contacts in my database. So I'm going to start with getting the financial partners that I want to do. So I'm going to look up MPD phase equals partner financial, and I click OK. Now I've already made my saved group. So here's my increased strategy category and my specific groups that I have. One is the starting list. So I'm going to add all 24 of these over. This is my reference point, and this group is going to stay the same throughout the entire strategy, just so I know who I was actually challenging. Then I have call for appointment. It's currently blank, so I'm going to add all of them there as well because I have not yet started walking them through the process. And then the rest of these, of course, are still blank. Appointment scheduled, call for decision, decision made, yes, and decision made, no. I like to keep yes and no, although I could do them decision in one saved group. Now, in this example, I'm actually implying that I'm doing face-to-face appointments. And in general, I think it's better to do face-to-face appointments for any kind of financial challenge. But a reality is a lot of my contacts right now are distant from me and I can't visit them face-to-face. So I am actually using a letter strategy as well at the same time. And so really this is uncontacted, letter sent, call made, call back, etc. So the specific steps of the strategy are going to vary depending on whether you're doing face-to-face appointments, letters and phone calls, etc. Now, how does this work? So I get the call for appointment, and this is the 24 people I have. So right now I've got 30 minutes I want to make phone calls. Well, I don't want to spend 10 of those or 20 of those trying to figure out who to call. That's a kind of a delay tactic, probably. So I just come here, say, look up this group, and boom, I'm ready to go. So I'm going to start with Fred Flintstone right here. Go here to log history and get ready to make this call. I log history, and this is increased strategy. I've actually saved this as a description here in the saved list so I could just start typing it. Away it goes. Let's say I reach Fred on the phone, so I say Fred, and I mentioned it to him, so we're going to schedule the appointment for next Monday, the 8th at 7 o'clock p.m. Okay, now I need to do a couple things. First of all, I need to go ahead and schedule this appointment. I'm going to use the same save description, increase strategy, Monday, July 8th at 7 o'clock p.m. And I don't worry about the length because I don't use that feature. And I click OK. So now I've got this appointment scheduled. And then I come over here to groups and I can just move him from call for appointment to appointment scheduled. And then I'm ready to go on to my next contact. And so eventually, as I work through this process, come next Monday, I go on the appointment and I finish it. So, and he says, and then I say, call for decision. Okay, so they didn't make a decision on the spot. Now, in this case, I'm going to move him from appointment scheduled to call for decision because a lot of times people don't want to make a financial decision on the spot. And I could add, if I said I was going to call back at a specific time, I might schedule the task for that. But in this case, since I'm working with so many, I'm just going to leave them in the call for decision area. And then when I make that phone call, increase strategy, I like just keep to use the same descriptions. Call for decision. Yes, say yes. And I'm going to say increase from $20 a month to $30 a month, like that. And then I move him from call for decision to decision made yes. So that's an example of how I would move a contact through the various saved groups. Okay, so there you go, a quick look at a way to use saved groups to help you run an increase strategy. Hope that's helpful to you.